We're about more than just a clear desk, we're about a clear mind. So if you're going to declutter a space, you need to come up with some estimates of what those steps are going to be and map it out. So that's one reason why so many people feel overwhelmed. So if that's what you're feeling, believe me, you are not alone. What does it mean to be organized? We help people kick chaos to the curb by teaching them how to organize their time, data, paper, and space. So you get an email that has a link that says, oh, you need to read this story. And then you click on that link, and so you read the story. But within the story, there are more links. And before long, an hour has disappeared from your life, and you have no idea where it went. Because we have entirely too much information out there, so we are bombarded and also losing time. So that's one reason why so many people feel overwhelmed. So if that's what you're feeling, believe me, you are not alone. So a lot of people feel all of this overwhelm. And some folks say, well, you know what? I don't mind feeling overwhelmed. I can deal with it. That's okay. Or I really like working under pressure. I don't mind feeling that kind of stress. But what some people don't realize is that when you are in a stressful mode, there's a hormone, a chemical called cortisol that's released. Now, cortisol is good in small amounts. So if you have a little bit of stress a few times a week, that little shot of cortisol gets you going. But if it's cortisol being shot all day long, every single day, then you start to develop a few problems in your body. Now, some of you are not old enough to remember this, but in the 80s, there was a Just Say No commercial for drugs, where there was a frying pan and said, this is your brain. And then they dropped an egg into the frying pan and said, this is your brain on drugs. Well, this is your body, and this is the cortisol that gets released into your body. Now, if you have just a little bit in there, it's not so bad. But when you start releasing cortisol all day long, every single day, eventually it starts to spread until you've got this blackness in there. Now, cortisol causes food cravings, which eventually leads to overeating. Cortisol causes high blood pressure. It also disrupts brain function. So the more you get overwhelmed, the more you're actually shutting down your body. So for those folks who say that they work really well under pressure, they can up to a certain time point, and then their bodies start to wear down. That's why it's really important to take as much overwhelm out of your life as possible. So decluttering, maintenance, and prevention. Those are the three keys to getting organized when you look at the big picture. Any organizing project, whether you're talking about physical space, or whether you're talking about your calendar, or whether you're talking about email, it has to do with decluttering, prevention, and maintenance. So let's talk a little bit about decluttering. If you're talking about email and you're trying to declutter your inbox, if you have 10,000 emails in your inbox, you're not going to finish in an hour. Unless you just select all and delete. And, oh, if you did that, that'd be so brave of you. I would love to hear that if anybody wants to do that in here. Or if you're talking about your calendar, you can't just wipe everything clean off your calendar if you're trying to declutter. You have to take some time and start planning. What are your priorities? What do you need to keep doing, and what do you need to remove from your calendar? So it takes time. You need to plan, and then you can act, okay? Now consider this, whatever you bring into your home or office will be a decision that you must make. You're going to have to make a decision regarding that object that's coming into your home or office. If it's a calendar, you're eventually going to have to make decisions about whatever it is that you just wrote onto your calendar. So this is where prevention becomes vital. You need to think about what are you letting into your life. Because if it's going to be burdensome, you don't want to let it in the first place, because it just keeps on piling those decisions on top of you, which leads to more overwhelm, which turns into, look how dark that is now. That's what's happening to your body as you let it be stressed constantly, and we don't want that. Whatever you put off doing today will double your work for tomorrow. I know. Isn't that terrible? Boring, mundane tasks that should be done every day, we put off because they're boring, mundane tasks. And so what happens is we wait till the last minute to do them, and then we get overwhelmed and we get stressed, and the situation just gets worse. Thank you. I got an amen. But I only got one. Can I get an amen? Thank you very much.